and 10 days ago for the Republican Senate seat with the right to face off against incumbent Andy Kim in November. He came up a little short, and I asked him to come on this morning to ask him about his experiences and his take in running for such an important campaign and politics nationally. I want to know his thoughts. Justin Murphy, good morning.
Good morning, Barry and Peter. How you guys
Good
doing?
Morning, Mr. Murphy.
What's going on, my brother?
And congratulations on 1 year. That's a heck of an anniversary.
Thank
and that's awesome.
Listen,
That's
Justin,
fantastic.
Vegas had his 12-1 odds never to make it.
I had you 12-1 odds never to make it.
Exactly. We call me all the time. You think they're going to boot us off the air? I said, Peter, they could boot us off the air any week, anytime. That's radio, I guess.
Justin, he calls me up. He says, I want to do a radio show. I said, you're crazy. He said, I called the radio. They're considering it. I said, you're crazy. He said, we're going in for a demo. I said, you're crazy. He said, we're on the radio. I said, are you serious?
Well, look, you guys knocked it down for a year, and let me take a quick minute, if I can, from having stepped out of the this run for U.S. Senate in New Jersey, and I can tell you, Barrett, you guys are doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing for the people and for the system and for the cause. You know what I mean by that is you're facilitating political engagement and discussion and ideas and current events, and you're doing what the print media and the press, quote unquote, should be doing all along, but unfortunately they do not. You know, you have people on, you challenge them, you give them tough questions, you give the voter something to hang on to and educate themselves when they make decisions for who they're going to vote for and support. Now that's in a stark contrast to, having run around the state since December of 23 trying to secure the Republican nomination for a U.S. Senate seat. Nobody from the Trenton Times, Atlantic City Press, Courier Post, Philadelphia Inquirer, Star Ledger, or Asbury Park Press covered the race.
Wow.
And if they did, they just did a brief mention of the top two serious candidates, quote unquote, and they just, it's a total ball drop. You need a press in a constitutional republic to promote and facilitate the free marketplace of ideas that makes this country, one reason we're exceptional. And there was a complete fumble in that regard. So you guys are doing it right way. Keep doing what you're doing. Congratulations on 1 year, and let's go for another year.
Yeah, we're trying. Listen, so I want to jump right into this. I want you to tell our listeners the experiences that you had over the last, call it 6 months, in running for this campaign, and the oddities that you saw and the things that troubled you and bothered you along the way.
Yeah, well, first of all, politics is a rough sport. I know, Peter, you just mentioned it. It's a rough sport. It's bloodthirsty. It's a lot of money and corruption, and you try to run and make a difference. But it's such a profound experience to have the opportunity to run at this level of government. We're the strongest nation in the world in the history of human civilization, and to think that myself, with not a lot of money or without family pedigree, has the opportunity to participate at this level, it's profound. And it's another reason why America is great, because guys like me and women like me can take a shot at holding political office without having, a large checkbook behind you or family pedigree or some type of connection in a political class. So, you see, Barry, when you campaign, and Peter, when you campaign throughout the state, and I had run for Congress twice before, back in 08 and 10, and this was a step and repeat for me. You see the best in people. People who don't know you open up their homes, their checkbooks, they support you, they take this walk with you. It's a sincere type of very intense engagement that you have with people, because, these people, I'm 58 years old, I never met most of these people in my life before, and then the next thing you know, they're walking side by side with you through a really critical and important time of your life, and a time important for the country. Now, concurrent with that, unfortunately, is you see not only the best of people, but you see the worst.
Sure.
Politics is politics. Everyone is aware of it. It can be very cruddy and filthy, and unfortunately that leads to high levels of apathy. People don't want to be involved, but you see both. You see both. You see the best in people. You see the worst in people.
Justin, that's so true. We're supposed to all be on the same team. We actually experienced a little bit of that here. When we're putting our show together, and we had one guy who we thought was going to be a great contributor, and the next thing you got to say this, and you got to, sometimes it's hard to put a square peg in a round hole, and we have to realize we're on the same team. We got to support each other. You know,
Yeah.
we're in a cultural war here, and we don't have time to be fighting each other over this, that, and the other thing. We got to stick together the way the Democrats do, you know?
Well, absolutely agree with that. And the key word there is culture war. You know, I believe that the left has been waging a culture war against this country, Barry, since 1965.
Yeah.
And we're now, I think the rest of the country is now just trying to come to grips with, like, wow, you know, how did our education system become this bad? You know, how did the entertainment industry become this bad? How did the bureaucracy get this out of control? How abusive has this government become? And, you know, all of these things, and it's smacking the American people in the face. And, yeah, look, it's time to wake up. We're in a full-blown culture war.
Hopefully we are waking up a little bit. Let me pick your brain a little bit about some Jersey politics. Is Van Drew a shoo-in to win that seat? And who is he running against? I know there was a Kennedy down there the last time he ran. So give us a little synopsis of what's going on with Van Drew's seat, because that's a big seat for us. I know Lobiondo held that seat for many, many, many years, and I think that's a good spot for a Republican or a conservative to really, settle in for a while.
No, you're right. That seat, Frank Lobiondo held it for years. And when they did the redraw, you know, we redraw congressional districts every 10 years in this country, as required by, you know, when we take a new census, we redraw congressional districts. Van Drew is a safe seat, and I don't think he's seriously threatened by anyone. I think he has that seat for as long as he wants it and as long as he's healthy and can perform. But, you know, if you look at the way the congressional districts in New Jersey were redrawn after, you know, well, COVID was a mess, it kicked out another 2 years from the old redraw. But Van Drew's seat is very safe now. It has a lot of Ocean County in it, which is a very strong Republican county in New Jersey, and it just solidifies that to be a very safe Republican seat. I can't see anyone seriously challenging him. The rest of the seats, the CD3, Congressional District 3 in New Jersey was redrawn, and it was a generally right-leaning seat. Now it's like a plus 14 Democrat seat. So, you know, the redraws can really impact who's in Washington. But
they help
Van
you
Drew
one
is
place,
safe.
hurt you another.
Right, absolutely. Van Drew is a safe seat, though, for Republicans.
That's good to know.
Listen, Justin, Uncle Barry here. I want to congratulate you and pay kudos to you in a call you made to Curtis Bashaw the other day. Tell my listeners, in a race where Republicans lost, I believe, by close to 1 million votes or so, how and what does Bashaw have to do to succeed and win against Kim?
Wow, great question. I did speak with Curtis yesterday. I had a chance to congratulate him on winning the primary, and I think his job right now is he's got a heavy lift. Very obviously, if you look at the political demographics in the state of New Jersey, literally without exaggeration, there are 1 million more registered Democrats than registered Republicans. Okay, that is an enormous hurdle. However, there's about 3 million voters in the state of New Jersey that are undeclared, unaffiliated, or independent.
Yeah.
So that's the largest block of voters. The first thing he needs to do is he needs to ensure that the Republican Party is unified, including the conservative base, okay, and he needs to prove to them that he is conservative enough. And there's a couple different ways that he can tackle that issue. And then he has to reach out to a very large block of voters. Fortunately, that the opportunity is there. And I've always said throughout this campaign, as I ran, from December up into the primary, the Democrat Party today is hemorrhaging voters. They're hemorrhaging Jewish American voters, as evidenced by what's happening.
We hope so.
College campus.
Sorry to interrupt. We hope so.
Well, look at our college campuses. Your Jewish Americans are hemorrhaging from the Democrat Party. They're also hemorrhaging Black Americans and Hispanic Americans, and certainly blue-collar voters, I think, are long gone at this point. So there is an opportunity there for the Republican nominee, whether it was Curtis or any one of us, to get these voters. Now, the problem is, the challenge is you have to inspire them to vote Republican. You've got to come up with some electro-charged, big ideas, a dinner table issue or two that's really going to motivate and inspire them to step into the Republican column. If you just run around the state and tell everybody how bad everything is,
Of course.
The border's wide open.
I don't think it makes it. I don't think it makes
No.
it. Well, that's
you take an extra step for sure.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt, but here's the thoughts. I mean, when I talk to people, there are people that say that the Republican Party, to win a blue state such as New Jersey, has to be a little bit more moderate. So I say to myself, what does that exactly mean? I guess you want to win over some Democrats. Obviously, they should be unhappy too, at least the public. and you have to win over some independents. Tell me what platforms you think they should be moderate on, because as far as I'm concerned, other than abortion, I can't think of anything they should be moderate on.
Barry, in my opinion, and this is what my campaign was predicated on. Obviously, I didn't win the nomination, but I did receive almost 36,000 votes, and I spent $5,000 to do it. And here's why I think the power of the message is that you don't moderate. you don't moderate. If you moderate, you're going to straddle the middle of the road. Too many issues, too many times, and people generally don't like that. Take a position. Go to the mat and fight for it. And the problem is not the position you hold. The problem is if you let your opponent in politics define you. Okay, that's why you need to be on offense. You need to win the battle of communication, the battle of messaging. I mean, to me, it's, you got an opportunity to be very tough on the border here, and people will respond to that.
Yep.
You can also be tough on economic policy with inflation and interest rates and deficit spending and debt. So the opportunity is there to be that kind of standard, tough line, hardline conservative.
No, I see it. So, Peter, let me ask you then. Let me ask the same question to you that I just asked Justin. What do Republicans, and this meaning Curtis, have to do to win this nomination for us in Jersey?
I think Justin, I would defer to Justin's opinion more than mine as far as that
But
goes.
I want to know what you think.
I understand, and he lived it, and from my perspective, and I've said this before, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in studio.
Right.
I felt like you had the most solid Reagan conservative message of the three. Not to say that they're not conservative and all that, but your message was enunciated a little clearer from what I heard, as far as that's concerned. So, and that's the camp that I'm from. So obviously, that was what I wanted to hear.
Well, you
as
know
a
what I think,
Republican.
Pete, too?
But let
Go
me say
ahead.
this, though, Uncle Barry. I
Go
want to
ahead.
get into the weeds a little bit with Justin. You've got Kim Bashaw, and now you've got Menendez. Is that an opportunity for us? Because we're out registered by 1 million votes. If we can get Menendez to split that Kim vote, doesn't that give us a little window there?
I think it's an extraordinary opportunity that you would have a very well-named, recognized Democrat run as an independent from the state. The problem, how that's curtailed, unfortunately, that sharp edge is blunted a little bit by the fact that Menendez, I think the Democrat Party, for the most part, has put him in the rearview mirror. I don't know exactly. He certainly won't split the ticket. He won't take half the Dems with him. Now, will he take some? I think he may take a few, but I don't think Republicans are going to get the benefit from that you conventionally would think that they would, because you got this independent. Now, I would love for him to peel. I mean, look, if Bob Menendez peels 10 to 15% of the Democrat vote away, then Bashaw can absolutely win. Absolutely. The problem is I don't think he's going to get that, because I think the number one, Democrats would be alarmed. They're going to be a little savvy and say, wait a minute, I'm throwing my vote away. I'm not going to get Kim the support he needs to win.
Yep.
And Menendez too, just being so corrupt. And I mean, this guy was reelected in 2018, and when he was reelected, okay, at the time he was reelected in 2018, he had 17 federal felony indictments against him.
Yeah.
And I just think whatever base he had is clearly gone. The Democrats have probably put him in the rearview mirror. He'll pull a few votes, but I would say he's a single-digit pull, which won't affect the race. However, if he does get above 10%, and he pulls 10 from the Dems, I think that really gives an opening for Bashaw to win, absolutely.
Boys, listen, before we go to a break, Jim, I want to take a quick call from Steve from Gloucester County. Good morning. You are on the air with Peter Mimo, Uncle Barry, and Justin Murphy. Good morning, sir.
Well, Barry, this is Mr. Steve DiOrio.
Wow.
Steve DiOrio. Hey, we're celebrity call.
morning for us,
Celebrity
Justin.
call. Hey, happy Father's Day to you, Steve.
Yes,
Good
sir.
to talk
Hey,
to you.
thank you, and happy
Well
Father's
said.
Day.
Cruising
Happy
92.1. Good morning. What's going on, bro?
Hey, listen,
All right, folks,
congratulations
stand
on your
by.
1 year anniversary. You and, of course, Peter and all your guests like Justin, the gang, everybody you've had on. Also, congratulations to WPHT for taking a chance on a different concept of talk radio,
Right.
such as friends and special guests, just talking kitchen table issues. And by the way, I did a fact check. The Vegas odds were 50-1. I looked into that.
If you told Peter that, he would have never come along. Thank God
I told him he was
he-
crazy.
Thank God he didn't look at the Vegas board. That's funny.
Hey,
Steve,
listen, I want to tell you one thing real
tell
quick.
me.
Please, the listeners out there, please support WPHT's advertisers. Because without these advertisers, we
Yes.
wouldn't be listening to quality talk on the radio every single day, every single hour throughout the Delaware Valley. So it's awesome.
Listen, I just want to make mention and embarrass you a little bit. You have been on the air for 13 years. This Wednesday and the following Wednesday, you and I are going to be on air. I'm trying to get Peter. It's hard. I'm trying to get Justin. It's hard. But we're going to be on 92.1 Wednesday at 5 o'clock for an hour. I look forward to you and I sitting in studio talking about local affairs, what you do better than anybody I know, and nationally, but especially local. All of your people love you. You're a credit to the radio business and a pleasure to deal with and spend time with. You are smart as a whip, my friend.
Well,
God-
thank you. God bless you. You're too gracious. Listen,
Thank
God
you.
bless everybody.
Thanks for
Keep
the call.
listening. Hang in there.
You bet.
Thanks,
Father's
Steve.
Day.
Thanks for the call.
Peter,
Thank you.
Justin, it looks like we're up against the break. Justin Murphy, don't you go anywhere. I want to get to national affairs after the break. You have been listening to the Barry Sable Show with friends. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Only WPHT. We will see you on the other side.